Hello everybody and welcome to my comic review. I am Rainbow Red Panda and today I am reviewing Trillium number 3. This is a title that came out a few weeks ago. It is by Jeff Lemire and it is a Vertigo comic. It kind of lives up to the name Vertigo, if you know like the definition of the word. It's a very interesting title every single time. Just the book, the way that it's written and the way that it's printed in itself is like a whole adventure. The first issue was sort of a double-sided issue where you had a cover on one side and a cover on the other, and each cover sort of had its own story to tell. It was definitely like a two-sided comic. You read the first half, then you had to like turn it over and read it the other way. It was totally weird. The second one wasn't really like that at all. If I remember correctly, it was just sort of like a straightforward, they switched back and forth between the two characters, William and Nika. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward. This one, every time I get Trillium, the very first thing I do is I look at the covers. I look to see if there is another backside, but no, you just have an advertisement for Arrow. Nothing exciting like that, so it's not a two-sided comic, but it does do something kind of unique. Whenever it switches the point of view, like whenever it switches from Nika to William, they do turn William's stuff upside down, so you have to like turn the comic, like the entire comic upside down to read it, which for the most part they kind of give each character a couple pages before that happens, but in this one, in like the centerfold, you have Nika on one side in her little area, but then you have William's over here and it's upside down, so you have to rotate it, and then you can see his, and then hers is upside down. So that's pretty much how the whole entire comic goes. So I don't know, like that's like one of my favorite things about it. It gives a whole new like perception to the comic. It just adds so much to it, and it's just something simple like that. So, you know, having never read a comic like this, it's very interesting. It kind of goes along with the story perfectly. And it'll be really interesting to see what they do with the trades, because with just the double-sidedness and all of that, like I'm almost gonna have to buy this trade just to see how you read it. It's like part of the thing is figuring out how you have to read this particular comic. The storyline of this, it is a continuation from the first and the second. It kind of flashes back to Nika and sort of how she lost her father, kind of talks about that, how she ended up where she is now. And she's just sort of continuing on trying to save this ancient land with the Trillium plant that her new world is trying to take over, because they believe that plant is the savior of their race. Of course, you know, people trying to take things that aren't theirs. It's like the story of the world. So it's dealing with that. It's dealing with everyone believing that her interaction with William was completely fake. They think that she's crazy. William's interactions with his brother totally thinks that he is crazy. Like apparently both of these people sort of have, you know, factors for believing that mental illness is the cause of them hallucinating to seeing the other person. So they kind of deal with that. That's what happens. Like if you are deemed as crazy one time, like you're pretty much screwed for people ever believing you in the future. Finally, his brother sort of says, okay, maybe we'll pretend that you aren't crazy. Just don't eat this plant because it could be poison. I don't think that's the case, but that's what he believed. They blow up the temple, they blow the door off, because that's totally the logical thing to do whenever you have this really, really old, awesome temple, is to just destroy the door to try and get inside. William and Nika do end up colliding and talking to each other, and it's going to be very interesting. I think that kind of together they're going to end up saving everything. What exactly everything entails, because I mean they are from two different time periods, all of that. I feel like they're just going to come together and save the civilization of the Trillium plant. They're just basically there to save it, but only time will tell. This is only the third issue, but it's totally fun to read. Like I said, reading it is 3/4 of the fun. The story is also really good. It's really amazing. I like the artwork. I don't know. I like the colors and all of that. It's not like super, super detailed, but I don't know. I like it. I like swirly art and stuff like that. So this is one of the other pages. You know, you have to turn it upside down. They're looking at the same door, but it's just from their perspective. So, yeah. This is Trillium in all of its rotational awesomeness. So I would highly suggest checking it out if you want to see. I did a review on issue number 2 earlier whenever it came out. So if you guys want to check out that, you can do that as well. But I don't know, I have fun with it, and I would definitely suggest buying the trade if you're just going to wait for that, because I think it's going to be very awesome to see how it comes out. I think every issue, I'm kind of making it a thing. I hope that every single issue they make it a different way to read it, because I don't know, I think that's like I've already said, that's part of the fun, is figuring out how to read this title. So I don't know, that's all I have for this review. I definitely recommend going out and getting Trillium and having fun reading it. It would be interesting to read it. I can imagine people reading this in public and like others looking at them and being like, "What are you doing?" Like, it's not a, it's not an Etch-a-Sketch. You don't have to like rotate and shake and all that. So I don't know. Go out and read Trillium, and if you have read it, let me know what you think in the comment section below. So that is all I have for this review. I will see you guys with the next one. Bye!